What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Meyer's Expeditions. Today we're out here again. We got Ben Zyons, Mike Jutt right over here. We brought her to drive. She's excited. She's not excited. We're doing the reef today, but we're gonna drift along, maybe do some blue water in the afternoon, bring the flasher, drop a little bit of chum, looking for those ukus again, as always. Ukus, moose, big goats, whatever we see. This will be pretty cool. We will see you in the water.
So on this day, we were running a 3-man team. So me, Mike, and Ben would all dive together. And what that does is that puts a lot of time on the surface in between dives because you rotate 3 instead of 2. And what that really leads to is long dive times and nice dives because you want to make sure that you maximize your dive when you get your chance. So stay tuned, guys, because this video is pretty incredible. Lots of long dives, 2 giant moo. Definitely my biggest moo that I've ever shot in my entire life. I think the big one went 7 pounds gutted. Absolutely pumped. You'll see this first dive here, kind of some of that structure we're diving. Big, beautiful ledge in that 70 to 80 foot range. Moana collies all around. I'm looking for ukus. We saw so many ukus this day. You can see me hiding down in that shadow, scratching, dusting, grunting, waiting for that uku to come in. We saw ukus from the surface all day long. We were dropping palu or chum, and we had a flasher out so we could see them down there. It was crystal clear. But when we got down to the bottom, I would grunt, I would scratch, I would dust. And no matter what, they were just not coming in. It was driving us completely insane. It was like every single dive for hours we would lay on beautiful bottom and see ukus and not shoot them. You can see this nice big school of moo. I would have shot one of these, except this dive, I was down there looking for the 20-pound uku that I just saw from the surface, and then I could see him down there on the bottom. Unfortunately, it was kind of too far away for you guys to see him, but the zone was just incredible. And every single time we would come up and we'd say to each other, we'd be like, guys, there should be more fish here. Like, there are ukus here, we're way offshore. There's no way that people dive here. We're out here between like 80 and 120 feet. There should be no pressure here. Why are we not getting these fish? It was driving us absolutely insane. So when things aren't going your way, you've got to change it up and pay attention on this dive because this is a sick new trick that I'm definitely going to be trying. You can see the flasher out and the palu we're dropping. Anytime you're in that kind of deeper range, in that 100+ foot zone, you've got a good chance at wahoos or onos coming by, checking out the flasher, checking out that chum. So we'll drop chum. And also the other benefit is the ukus. The ukus will come up, they'll see that flasher, they'll eat some chum, they'll get real dumb, and then you can shoot them. But for whatever reason, on this day, they weren't interested in the chum, they weren't around. We could see them and they just didn't care. But watch this, guys, this is a pretty unbelievable dive. This is probably like 85, 90 feet. Get down here to the bottom, post up in my zone and see the taco. And I'm like, I'm not sure what my initial thought was. Whether I was like, let me take this taco to eat, or let me take this taco and chum with it. But either way, I managed to turn this taco into almost an uku, and then into my biggest moo that I've ever shot. So I'm down there, I'm deep, I'm tickling this thing, I get him out, and then when I'm kind of coming up, I see those 2 ukus. And those ukus will come in to that commotion, to that dusting, to that sand stirred up, to the noises of the taco. And that's the same kind of things that we're trying to do when I'm telling you guys to scratch and to dust and to grunt down there on the bottom. You're trying to make this commotion to attract things like that uku, exactly what happened right here. So I was down there long enough, I needed to come up. I figured I'd do the lunge, take a shot. Unfortunately, my shot was just a teeny tiny bit low and he tore off right here. So when I got to the surface, I cleaned the taco and I dropped the guts down. And the biggest uku we saw all day, probably 20+ pounds, came up, whacked the guts, wasn't interested in all of our chum, but that's when I kind of got the idea. I was like, I'm gonna drop this taco down to the bottom and we're gonna see what happens. So I dropped that taco and it falls all the way to the bottom and you can see it right there. One of those little Hawaiian hogfish things, table boss is down there kind of munching on it. And I didn't have a lot of surface interval in between that last dive, so I didn't have a lot of time down there. And I was like, I'm gonna go down real quick, I'm gonna see if anything came around, but more importantly, I'm gonna go try and retrieve my taco. Because if nothing comes to eat that taco, I wanna eat that taco. So I'm really not looking forward to just giving it away to that table boss. I go down to the bottom, kind of flash it around, wave it, see if anything's coming in, and then dig out of there because did not have the breath hold to stay there as long as I usually do. And then this is it, guys, that first giant moo that I shot. So I dropped the taco already, and if you'll pay attention on the way down, you might be able to see some flashes of those moo. because I dropped it on kind of a pile of moo, and I was kind of astounded, but they all came over and just started attacking it. So I figured I'm gonna drop, I'm not gonna stay right, I'm not gonna land on top of it. I wanna land kind of away from it, as if you were hunting in the woods. I wanna use these rocks as cover to go from one rock to the other rock to the other rock and get as close as I can to them while they're distracted. And that's really the only way I know how to get one of these monster moo, because they're just usually too smart for me. So you can see my taco is kind of over there underneath where those moo are. And I landed a good 20, 30 feet away behind this rock, and I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna settle in, I'm gonna really relax. I've got no real reason to try and attract those moo over to me. What I want instead is for those moo to go back to eating the taco, and then I'll crawl over there and see if I can't get close enough for a shot. So you can kind of see there at the top left corner of the screen, they're kind of looking down, and that's exactly where my taco is. And I'm starting that aguado technique. So the aguado is basically just using that left hand and moving through the water really, really slowly and quietly, trying to use cover. And it's just like if you were in the woods, hunting with a bow or a rifle, and you're spot and stalking, you're moving from one tree to another tree to another tree, and then stopping in between, and trying to be as sneaky as possible to sneak up on these brilliant, brilliant fish. These are some of the smartest fish in the world, and the bigger they get, the smarter they get. So you can see rock to rock to rock, crawling super slow. Obviously a really, really nice long dive, something that I couldn't do if I didn't have that 3-man team. And then there he is right there. He kind of cruises over, he's looking at me, he's checking me out, turns, get that shot, and he goes right underneath that rock. Now look up here to the right now. You'll see a big alua coming in, and again, came into that commotion. It'll be right here. And big Kalua's coming in, looking to see what's going on, and Ben on the surface thought that was a shark. So like a good buddy, immediately he's on his way down to the bottom. He's gonna go protect that fish for me. And that's part of buddy diving here, guys, and that's so, so important. Right there, on his way down, gonna go get my fish out of the hole before that shark can take it, before it can get more tangled up, before it just wastes more time in the day. Just help each other, guys. Help each other get those fish out. And then you'll see something else really cool here in a second. You'll see when Ben releases my fish, I pull it up, Ben comes back up and immediately starts reeling in my reel line. And that's another super, super helpful technique to do for each other. I mean, you can't really dive until your buddy is kind of reset again. So either you can sit there and watch him deal with his fish and re-rig his line, or you can help him out and just reel his line in for him. Keeps all that line from tangling up on the surface, keeps you from getting in the boat props. It's just really, really helpful. Great technique. There's nothing quite like having good buddies that know exactly what to do. So again, one of those later dives that are just so frustrating. I mean, we saw ukus all freaking day long, and you'll see them here. You'll see me try and do everything I can. Those nice, calm dusting on the bottom. When I see them, you can see them out there. When I see these ukus, and I know they see me, I'm gonna do less. I wanna be more and more subtle the closer those fish are to me. So really light grunts, and then I'm relaxing down there on the bottom, and I'm just staying still, and I'm trying not to do anything. I know they see me. Now I'm doing my best to be as non-threatening as possible, hoping that they'll get curious enough and they'll come over and they'll check me out. You can see them there, just cat and mouse, cruising around out there, just driving me absolutely insane. Again, end of the world here, middle of nowhere, 100+ feet, sand, boulders. This should be prime. Like, these fish should come right over to my face and I should have no problem getting a great shot and landing these fish. Unfortunately, they're not all shootable, and that's, you see right here, no matter how good you are, no matter how long you stay down there, there are just some fish that just aren't gonna happen. This was another one of those heartbreak uku dives, really deep. Probably 120 feet here. I'm laying on the ledge perfectly, I'm chilling down there, and you'll see right out here in front of me, a big uku. We're talking 15, 18, 20 pounds, cruising right along the ledge, or just right above the ledge. I flip the gun around and I'm like, this one is mine. There is no way that I screw this up. There he is right there. I'll put an arrow on him. You kind of see him and then he just diverts straight offshore. And I'm like, you are not gonna go around me right now. You were cruising right past me. You can see all the life down there, omilus, there's some moo around. Just really cool life. And this guy just turns and goes completely around me. He's probably at 140, 150 feet there. I'm like, what is this guy's deal? Why is he not coming over here? It was literally some of the most frustrating uku dives of my entire life. And then that exact same spot right here, you'll see another full dive, really cool, another giant moo. And this is more my classic moo technique. You know, you're gonna see me go down to the bottom, kind of pick out my target fish, duck my head down all the way down there in the sand, not looking at anything, and being patient and waiting and letting that moo become curious and coming over to me. Now, it does not hurt that this was 120, 130 feet, because what we've obviously found over the years is the deeper you are, the dumber these fish get. And like I said, middle of nowhere, end of the world, this moo, it shouldn't have a problem getting it. You know, he should, if I do everything right, I should be able to land this fish 9 times out of 10. And luckily, it worked out for me right here. You can see me go down there. I can see him out there in a distance. He's there. He's that moo that doesn't look so big right now, but beautiful structure, nice big ledge, falls right off. I think I'm at that 120, 130 foot side, falls all the way off down to like that 160, 170. I picked out my fish, and you'll see me now doing that technique where I duck my head completely down, throw it against my arm, and totally just relax. And that is so key for these moo, guys. You can see it right there. Dropped it down. I know the target. I'm gonna sit there for as long as I feel comfortable. You know, you don't want to wait till you're really struggling, because you still have to pop up, make a shot, potentially deal with any issues that arise, and then swim all the way back to the surface. But that little bit, that you see that little bit of tuck, that little few seconds was enough to bring that moo so much closer and have him just get a little bit curious there, and I can outstretch that gun in full slow motion and then get that shot right there, side of the face. You can see that bouldery stuff that we love, that bouldery, almost dead looking reef, and just landed like my first or second biggest moo of my entire life. Just so pumped, guys. It was such a cool dive, and to get 2 of these fish in one day was just such a cool experience. And again, here on the surface, that teamwork, that buddy system, I'm pretty winded. That was a serious dive. So Mike goes straight into pulling my fish up, and I go straight into reeling that line in. And this just cuts on down all that time of kind of tanglement and prep in between dives, and gets you all ready as a team to do it again and get another fish.
Killer. Get out of here. Never have I seen that many uku and not shot any. I mean, all day long they were there, but I got these 2 stud moos. Check these things out.
Is the little one yours?
No.
That's not yours?
Not that little baby.
Not that guy?
Look at that. Those are proper moo.
Gotta hold him out in the sun, bro.
Definitely my biggest Kona moo. Like 2 of them, or both, definitely my biggest Kona moos.
Well, considering I shot at 3 that size and missed every single one of them, I think we're gonna go try out some blue water action and try and maybe I can shoot a big fish, because I clearly can't shoot the small ones.
You're done with that little gun, huh?
I'm done with that thing, bro.
Sick. Well, we'll see you out in the blue water then.
So from there, we made the long run over to the blue water. We dove the cage right at sunset. Ben actually saw a school of onos, some mahis, and a giant tuna cruise by on the surface on the first drift. This was the second drift. It was even darker and later. I didn't see anything, but either way, it's just sick to get there and dive this super spooky area right there at the end of the day. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe, because we have so much more coming for you. And thank you so much for watching me right here on Ryan Myers Expeditions.